Hi, I'm Kim Tasso, and today in this short video we're going to be looking at the topic of emotional intelligence, sometimes called EQ or IQ, and why it's so important for all of us, whether it's concerned with our family and friends or our peers or teams at work or as a leader. Um, so let's start with a definition of emotional intelligence. Most people think they know about IQ, which is intelligence quotient, which is around our cognitive, rational, reasoning, problem solving skills. Emotional intelligence is around, as it says, our emotions, our ability to perceive, integrate, reflect on, and respond to our own emotions and the emotions of those around us. So, as I'm sure you can imagine, that's vitally important in how we deal with people. So, how important is emotional intelligence? Well, let me give you some statistics. Tested alongside 33 other important skills, we find that emotional intelligence subsumes most of them, including those such as time management, decision making, and communication. Um, Emotional intelligence accounts for 58% of performance in many areas. It's the single biggest predictor of performance in the workplace and a real driver of leadership and personal excellence. And furthermore, 90% of the really high achievers are also high in emotional intelligence, and we also know that those people with high emotional intelligence are also probably earn more money. The statistics and the models that I use in emotional intelligence come from a book by Talent Smart in 2009 by Dr. Travis Bradbury and Jean Greaves. So the model I use has four elements, and we're going to go through those. Two elements are concerned with our personal competencies, and two elements are concerned with our social competencies. So the first one, I'm using a mirror. I look in the mirror and I see myself. The first competency is around self-awareness. How well do we recognize what we're feeling and why we're feeling it, what triggers us? So for example, I might feel butterflies in my tummy, and I might interpret that feeling as in a positive way as excitement, or I might interpret it in a negative way as anxiety. Some researchers have found that only 36% of people tested can accurately identify their emotions. So how are you feeling right now? What name would you give to the emotions you're feeling? Another piece of research that said although something like 95% of people felt they were very self-aware, actually only 10 to 15% of people are. Emotions have different intensities. So for example, you might feel discomfort, mild irritation, annoyance, anger, rage. So different emotions have different intensities. So do you see yourself when you look in the mirror? Are you a pussycat who sees yourself as a lion, or are you a lion who sees yourself as a pussycat? So self-awareness. Different personalities have a big impact here, and lots of people talk about doing personality assessments to increase their self-awareness of their strengths and weaknesses, and I did a little video recently on dogs, cats and bears personalities if you'd like to take a look at that. Right, so that's the first area, self-awareness. The second area is self-control, and I have Buddha here, probably known best for sitting in quiet contemplation, mindfulness and meditation. So having identified an emotion, how good are you at controlling that emotion? Now, emotional regulation is something we learn as children. You know, how to identify, name and control that emotion. And there's lots of techniques to help you do this more effectively, such as STOP from Timothy Galway. Many therapists will use techniques around grounding to help people think about what's going on in the here and now and focus on their internal world. Self-management increases steadily with age, and while women and men are pretty much equal in terms of their awareness of their emotions, men are rapidly catching up in their ability to control their emotions. So the gender gap is really closing there. Being consistent in your behavior and not prone to unpredictable outbursts is something that's really important for others around you to trust and feel comfortable with you. So that's really important on those aspects of relationships. But self-control is limited. We do suffer from decision fatigue, and we run out of self-control as the day goes on. So think about what's your best time of the day for being in control. So those are the two personal competencies: self-awareness and self-control. Now we shift over to social awareness. So here I have a pair of shoes, because a key part of social awareness is empathy, the ability to see things and feel things from the other person's perspective. Imagine getting in their shoes, no matter how uncomfortable or unfamiliar they might be, to see things from their perspective. There's a famous saying by the Cherokee Native Americans that says something like, "Oh, Great Spirit, grant that I may not find fault with my neighbour until I've walked the trail of life in his moccasins," or in her stilettos. And there are different types of empathy, connecting with people and recognising those feelings. A key part of empathy is the ability to read the non-verbal communication of other people, to see whether there's a congruence between what they say and how they say it, whether it's with their gestures or their posture or their tone of voice even. So reading non-verbal communication is a pretty important skill. And also their tone of voice. The final stage in the social competencies is relationship management. So here I've got either my happy family or my happy troops. So here we actually have the ability to measure in psychometric terms our skills in relationship management, how well we manage the emotions of other people around us. There's something called emotional contagion, which says that if I'm feeling very miserable, I can, be contagious to other people, and they can pick up my negative emotions. So we need to make sure we're positive in our emotions, and that will hopefully infect everyone else with positivity. So there's a tool to measure our ability to manage relationships. So again, that's really quite an important thing for many aspects of our personal lives and in business. So whereas IQ is fairly fixed, emotional intelligence we can change. And this topic I've talked about a lot in various books. In general business relationships, in better business relationships, I talk about emotional intelligence. And more recently, I published a book on essential soft skills for lawyers. And in this book, there's a whole section dedicated on the importance of emotional intelligence for lawyers, both internally with their people and externally with their clients. So thank you very much indeed for watching and listening, and I hope to connect with you very soon. Bye.